Hello everyone, how are you all? The day has come when you have finally achieved what you were preparing for in the last 1 year. This is an ICSE Physics Paper discussion, right? You all have been working very hard to do excellent in today's examination, and I hope all of you have done very good today, okay? So relax, the paper is done and you all have done very good. I am very sure, okay? We'll just discuss whatever the questions are being asked today. We will discuss what are the possible solutions for them, okay? And do not fear, do not worry if your answer is not matching with what we are explaining, okay? Do not worry at all, it will be very fine, okay? So here is my friend Cherry, and she will also be helping you, okay? So,
hello everybody. So I know all of you are totally scared about the result and like what are the questions, what are the solutions. But chill, we are going to discuss all of these and just you will be fine after that. Okay. So let's get started with the paper itself.
Okay, so we can go to the first question now, which is I think the most easiest question the ICSE can ever ask. Okay. So yeah, that was the format of the paper. It was a 2-hour paper. Okay. And you are given the paper in the first 15 minutes. You are supposed to read all the questions. And after that, you are supposed to start writing. Okay. So I hope you all have utilized that first 15 minutes, which I consistently ask the students to properly utilize those first 15 minutes. They are very crucial. Okay. Because you will set yourself, you will align yourself that what are the questions I can do. Okay. What are the questions which I am comfortable in the first attempt. I will do those questions first. And after that, I'll move forward. Okay. So that actually help you to plan and manage the paper. Okay. So here comes the first question, and this is going to be very easy question. Understand, the clockwise movement produced by a force about a fulcrum. Now, this is about a fulcrum. A fulcrum is there, a point is there, and about that, if a clockwise moment is there. So, we know that there are 4 options, positive, negative, 0, and none of this. But definitely the answer is not C, not D. It is clockwise movement. So either the answer can be positive or negative. So the correct answer will be definitely answer option B, that is negative. That's the sign convention that we always used to follow, that this is option B, negative. Okay? Yeah. So for the clockwise movement, the answer will be negative. If the question was anti-clockwise, then it will be positive. Okay? So I hope all of you have done this. This was a straightforward question. I don't think it needs too much of any kind of thing. It is very easy question. Now let's move on to the next question.
Even if the questions are like very easy, but Alpha is saying that the paper was difficult for him.
Okay.
Okay, it's like, it's okay. Some question might be hard for you, some might be easy, and some might be moderate for you. But okay, let's see what is.
You might be thinking that the paper was difficult for you, but you have done the answers correctly. Okay, so you will see today, you will watch today, and the answer will be easy, and all the questions will be easy. Now let's come to the next question. When the speed of a moving object is doubled, what is its kinetic energy? Now this is very simple. This straightforward question. If speed, kinetic energy formula, I hope everybody has knows this, right? If when anybody asks kinetic energy, even your eyes are closed, half mv square, right? Very simple. So half mv square. Just speed of a moving object is doubled. Velocity is doubled. So instead of v, we will have to put 2v. And when you put 2v, it is 4 times half mv square. So answer will be, is 4 times becomes 4 times. Option D is the correct answer. So how many of you have done the answer as option D? Please tell me in the chat box. Everyone, faster. It was the easiest question. Yes? Okay, great. Yeah, it is option D. There is no doubt in it. Okay? Alright, now let's move on to the next question. Yeah, this is the solution. You can take it later. Now the energy conversion in a washing machine. Very simple question. Washing machine, everyone has seen washing machine. Is there anyone who has not seen it, who has not observed it? Washing machine runs on electricity or something else. Is it runs on petrol or diesel, or it runs on electricity? Yes, it runs on electricity. Whenever we plug in to a socket, it runs on electricity, right? So the energy conversion in a washing machine is from electrical. Now, we are coming to 2 options. Electrical. It means first electrical energy is provided to that machine, and after that it is converted to something else. That we don't know. So by easily we can cross these 2 options. Now we have come to 2 options. Second is electrical to mechanical, and then electrical to magnetic. Now, mechanical and magnetic. What is the purpose of a washing machine? To wash the clothes. And how it is done? By rotating the clothes in its tub. So that is done only when mechanical is there. When mechanical energy is provided to the clothes, etc., they are moved, then only it can be washed. So energy conversion is definitely from electrical to mechanical. Alright? Yes, the answer is option B, electrical to mechanical. Okay? So I'm just saying that you can, even if you don't know the answer, you can easily eliminate two options. Okay? Yeah? Alright. So let's move on to the next question. Yes. Which of the following radiation suffers maximum deflection in a magnetic field? Yeah, that's a kind of a good question. Which of the following radiation suffers maximum, if that particle is moving in a magnetic field, why it will suffer maximum deflection, maximum? Now, gamma radiations and X radiations, these are electromagnetic radiations. They will not undergo any deflection. They will not undergo any deflection because they are electromagnetic radiations. The deflection can only happen for alpha and beta. Only alpha and beta can get deflected. So, out of alpha and beta, which one will get maximum deflection? It is definitely beta. Why beta? Because the specific charge as compared to alpha radiation is more with beta. That's why the beta will deviate, will deflect more whenever it is passing in a magnetic field. Okay? Now, this is another question. The speed of blue light in water. We have speed of blue light. We have different colors of light whenever they're going in water. But the question is asking that which color light will be having more speed whenever it is passing in water. Speed of blue color light, green, orange, violet, red. Now I am sure you must have seen that rainbow, right? You all have seen rainbow. So the rainbow is now speed of light is C by mu. Now if mu of water for blue is less than as compared to violet. So diffractive index for blue color light is definitely less than violet. So the speed of blue is definitely greater than violet color light. So the answer is option C, because it is definitely less than green, orange, red, because they comes after that. Green, orange, red. They are coming after blue. Only violet is before them. So yes, the answer is more than violet light. Okay. Now let's come to the next question. A concave lens produce only. Now the options are real, virtual, real. Even if you know the answer is real or virtual, you are able to eliminate two options, right? Now concave lens. First of all, tell me, concave lenses are converging lens or diverging lenses? Understand? Concave lenses are converging or diverging? Concave lenses are diverging lenses. So if concave lenses are diverging lenses, light after passing through these lenses, will it be ever meeting at a point? No, it will never be meeting at a point actually. And if they are never meeting at a point actually, will that be a real image? Can they form a real image? No, not at all. Only virtual image will be. And if virtual image is formed, the question is now is enlarge or diminish? Yes, the image is always diminished. Only a diminished image will be formed. So the answer is option C, virtual and diminished.
Even this question is like very easy for Sachin and Soumya also.
Okay, yes, so this question is exactly very easy. Now let's come to the next question. Now this question is very interesting. Even if you don't know anything about this question, the answer is hidden in the statement itself. You do not have to have knowledge of this question also. When a body vibrates under a periodic force, the vibration of the body are always. Now, the word is periodic force. Periodic force. It means the vibration of the body are always forced vibrations. They are forced. The body is vibrating because some kind of force is periodically applied on that body. That's why the vibrations are happening, right? So answer is definitely C, forced vibration. Just seeing this word in the question only, you can get the right option. That is option C, forced vibration. Okay? Yeah. Now let's come to the next question. Very, very simple. Two notes are produced from two different musical instruments. There are two different musical instruments. It can be any two, such that they have same loudness and same pitch. Same loudness and same pitch. It means their amplitude and their frequency of the voice is same. Now, how will you differ these two voices which have same amplitude and same pitch, same frequency and same amplitude? That is very simple, by the waveform. I'll draw two waveform for all of you, okay? Just see how it looks like. This is one waveform. The amplitude is this much and frequency is this. Now I'm drawing another sound form. Both have same amplitude and both have same frequency as well. But still, are you able to differentiate between two? Yes. Why? Because the waveform is different. So it is the waveform that is exactly telling that how the two sounds of same frequency, same loudness and same pitch is differentiated, okay?
Also, we are going to name that quantity as timbre.
Yeah,
and Shashi has definitely told the correct answer for that.
Very good, very good. Congratulations, okay? Now, a very simple question. When a current I flows through a wire of resistance R for time t, then the electrical energy produced is given by. Now, electrical energy is produced is given by. Very simple. It is directly proportional to square of the current, I square, and directly proportional to resistance and the time for which the current flows through any wire. That is the electrical energy. So answer is definitely option A, I square RT. Now choose the correct relation for EMF and terminal voltage. Yes, that's an interesting question, but it's again an easy question. You do not have to think too much. Now EMF is equal to terminal voltage always. That is, I think, the most silliest option that can be given by examiner in this question, right? Now terminal voltage is always greater than EMF. That is also always. Whenever always kind of things are written in the answer options, now you always have to be cautious. That these always options are always wrong.
True, totally agree with the thing.
Now terminal voltage is less than EMF when the cell is in use. Yes, that makes some sense, right? So see, when current is drawn from a cell, its terminal voltage is definitely less than its EMF, right? And that is equal to voltage drop inside the cell. Whatever the voltage is dropping inside the cell, because inside the cell there is also some resistance that also has to be overcome. That's why its terminal voltage is decreasing or is less as compared to the EMF of the cell when the cell is in use. Now, if the strength of the current flowing through a wire is increased, then strength of the magnetic field produced by it is. Very simple. Strength of current flowing through the wire is increased. If the value of current flowing through the wire is increased, then the strength of the magnetic field will be definitely increasing. The answer is option B. It's very simple. If current increases, magnetic field increases. No doubt in that, okay? Now here comes very simple question. Yes, sometimes students find it difficult that specific latent heat of a substance. They are sometimes confused between this word specific and latent. What is this specific? Look, in the paper as well, specific is written in bold, right? You can see it is specific. It means they are interested to know whether you know the difference between latent heat or specific latent heat or not. Now, specific latent heat of a substance is directly proportional to mass, and one more mass I can see here in the option, inversely proportional. Leave it. Mass? Can the mass be considered in answer options? No. Specific has nothing to do with mass. Now, only two options are left. It directly proportional to the change in temperature or it depends on the material. So understand it depends on the material. It is an intrinsic property of any material that what is the specific latent heat of that substance. It is an intrinsic property. It depends on the property of the material of that substance, right? So it depends on the material. It only depends on the material. What kind of material it depends. It varies from one material to another, okay? Now let's come to this.
Even if all of these questions are totally easy, and in the starting of the video, Alva was saying that the paper was hard for him. Yes. But see, he's given all the correct answers over here.
Very good, very good. I hope you will be getting very, very good marks in the upcoming examinations as well.
I can assure that definitely with the answers.
Good. Now, specific heat of a substance X is given in the question. The examiner just wants to check whether you know the meaning of these units that are given here as well. 1900 joule per kg per degree Celsius. What does that mean? A specific heat capacity of a substance. Now, substance X absorbs 900 joule for 1 degree centigrade rise in temperature. Now that we can understand that if substance is absorbing some kind of energy, there will be a rise in temperature. But here, see, absorbs this much of heat to cool down by 1 degree Celsius. In order to cool, somebody has to absorb energy. I don't think so. It is like absurd statement is written here. Nobody has to absorb energy. Nobody has to lose energy, right? Now let's come to option B. 1 kg of substance X absorb 900 joule heat for 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature. Now here temperature is mentioned. That is a good thing. But in the C option, 1 kg of substance, 1 kg of substance X absorb 900 joule of heat to increase it. Here they are not mentioning that how much temperature is rising. They are not mentioning that. So the right answer is option B. That is 1 kg of substance X absorb 900 joule of heat for 1 degree Celsius rise in temperature. Okay. Now let's come to the very, very interesting question that when a ray of light travels normal to a given surface, any given surface, if a ray of light is entering normally, then the angle of refraction is. What is the angle of refraction? If ray of light is incident normally to that surface, it means angle of incident is 0 degree. If anything is incident normally to a surface, will it get reflected? Will it get refracted? Will it get deviated? Definitely not. It will not deviate. It will go as it is. It will go undiminished, right? So the ray of light travels normal to a given surface, then angle of refraction, if it is going undeviated, then angle between reflected ray and normal is also 0. So answer is option C, 0 degree. Okay.
Even this sentence and this statement, we have already write that in given conditions whenever the light goes in straight forward, right?
Yes.
So this is like undeviation condition.
Very good. So this was very easy question. I hope everybody can solve this. Okay.
Yeah, everybody has given the correct answer. Gauri, Aishwarya,
very good.
These are given.
Okay. Even in reflection also, if any light is falling normally on a surface, it will get reflected, it will retrace the same path. Okay. There also the angle of incident, angle of reflection is 0. Yeah. Now, this is the last single mark question in that small air bubbles rising up a fish tank appears silvery. Whenever you notice any fish tank, you go to any shop or you go to any place where if you have a fish tank at your home, you notice that small air bubbles start rising from that fish tank. Whenever you view them from some particular angle, not from every angle, you turn your head to some other angles, you will notice that the bubbles which are rising up, they looks silvery. They kind of having a shiny appearance. Why? Because of total internal reflection that is happening, right? Light is going from air into the water. There is a water inside the surface in that. And in that there is an air bubble. Now when light enters from that water into the air bubble, which is air, it means the light is entering from a denser medium to a rarer medium. And if light is going more than the critical angle, light is incident at more than the critical angle, it will get totally internally reflected. So because of total internal reflection, the light is again retracing back, light is again coming back, and because of that, the silver appearance is happening, right? So the answer is total internal reflection, nothing that, okay? Now we are coming to some important questions. Yes, these questions are of 3 marks, but again, these are 1 marks question. They look scary, but they are definitely not. A, B, and C options are there, and 1 marks questions are there, okay? So let's focus on the first one. When does the nucleus of an atom tends to become radioactive? Now, atom, understand. The answer is that when number of neutron become greater than the number of proton, then the nucleus of that atom become radioactive. But till what time they will not be radioactive? When the number of neutron is exactly equal to number of protons. Till that time, it will not be radioactive. If something happens, mismatches the balance of that, then it will become radioactive. Then the atom starts radioactive activity. Now, let's come to the second question, that name a single pulley in which displacement of load and effort is not the same. If displacement of load and effort is not same, then what kind of pulley is that? But we have seen single pulley, it will all definitely having a pulley will always have the same displacement of load and same displacement of effort. How much the effort is moving, the load is also moving. But what kind of single pulley is that? Very simple. It is a single movable pulley. If you have a single movable pulley like that, okay, so whatever load you are having here, the load is moving only half the distance. If the effort is moving distance d, the load is moving only half the distance. So in single movable pulley, the displacement of load and effort is definitely not the same, right? Now, the third part, that state one advantage of this pulley, that what are the advantages of this pulley, right? The most important advantage is that its mechanical advantage is actually 2. Its mechanical advantage is actually 2 because mechanical advantage is load upon effort, and load is L, effort is L by 2. Only L by 2 effort you have to put here if the load is L, okay? So if effort is L by 2, then you will definitely getting the mechanical advantage as 2, okay? Now let's come to the next question, that what is the position of center of gravity of a triangular lamina? Very simple. Center of gravity is that point about which the moment of all the pieces, all the small masses about that point will be 0. Including clockwise, anti-clockwise, all the moment of small fragment of mass about that point will be 0. But what is the position of center of gravity of a triangular lamina? It is the point of intersection of the median. All the medians, if intersecting at any particular point, that will be the center of gravity of a triangular lamina, right? Point of intersection of medians. Now the second question, that when this triangular lamina is suspended freely from any one vertex. Very interesting. If this triangular lamina is suspended freely from any one vertex, what is the moment of force produced by its own weight in its rest position? Now, center of gravity is that point also about which the entire weight of the body will be acting. We can assume that the entire weight of a body is concentrated at that point. Now, if triangular lamina is suspended at any point, let's say this first point A, then the weight is acting along this line, the force is acting along this line. Then the line of action of force and the point of rotation is, the distance between the line of action of force and point of rotation is almost 0, right? So it will not be having any kind of moment of force will be 0. Even if you take this point, somebody will say, sir, I will take this point. Why you are taking this point? This is directly above it. Even if you take this point, then it will try to adjust again, and the diagram will look like this. This will be B, this will be A, and this will be C, okay? And again, the center of gravity is here. The line of action of center of gravity will be passing through this point of rotation. So moment of force will be again 0. Yeah. Now this is a very interesting question, okay? It feels like some kind of a ride is there, but it is definitely not that one. The diagram shows wheel O pivoted at point A. Now most of the students have committed the mistake mostly in the first statement. Most of the students, because they are in a hurry, they are in exam pressure, exam is there, we are giving the answer, we have to finish the paper faster, we have to give an answer correctly. But in that also you have to keep the calm, okay? Now the diagram shows wheel O pivoted at point A. It is pivoted at point A, not at point O, right? It is not pivoted at point O. It is pivoted at point A. Most of the students feel that this is pivoted at point O. We have to check with respect to that pivoted point. No.
Even they didn't even think about it that O must be the point where there is no any kind of pivot.
They purposefully give this as point O. Okay.
To confuse you. So you don't have to be confused, yeah?
Okay. Now the 3 equal forces F1, F2 and F3 act at point B on the wheel. Now this is a point B. Here the 3 forces are acting. F1, F2 and F3. Now which force will produce maximum moment about point A? About point A, which force is producing maximum moment? Now we know moment is what? Product of force and the distance between the line of action of force, the perpendicular distance between the line of action of force and that pivoted point. Now we will be extending the line of action of all the forces. This is the line of F3. This is the line of F1. This is the line of F2. F1, F2, F3. Now tell me from this point A, which line of action will have maximum perpendicular distance? Is this one It feels very small. Is this one? This is also less. But F1, huge distance. All the forces value are equal. F1, F2, F3 are equal. But the distance, the perpendicular distance of this point from the line of action of force is maximum for force F1. So which force will produce maximum moment about point A? It is F1, right? So the answer is F1. Now give a reason for your answer in option A that we have already given while explaining the question, that the perpendicular distance of the line of action of force from that pivoted point is maximum for force F1. That's why it is the maximum moment will be of about point A will be of F1 force. This one. Okay, so this was very easy. Those who have observed it very well, that okay, this is the line of action, this is the line of action of different forces. Even if you have tried to draw by using pencil also, you can get it very clearly. Okay, but one thing you always have to focus on this: do not skip small minute detail of any question. That is very important.
And even we can say that 2 marks depend on that single line.
Yes.
Single sentence even.
Exactly. So yeah, let's move on to the next question. That what should be the angle between the direction of force and the direction of displacement for work to be negative? When the work done will be negative? We always keep this is a question. In fact, this is the topic. Work is positive, negative, zero. We keep on focusing in the classroom as well. That these are important conditions which can be asked in the examination. These are favorite conditions. These are favorite topics of examiner. What is the angle between direction of force and the direction of displacement for work to be negative? If this is the direction of force and the displacement of body is also acting in this direction, then we can definitely say the work done is positive. But if the direction of force and displacement are opposite, force is acting in this direction, displacement is acting in that direction, then in this case the work done is negative. But we have to tell that what should be the angle. Now tell me one more thing. If displacement of a box is happening in this side, even if the force is acting on this side, then also the component of force which is responsible for the displacement of this object is also towards right. So they are also in the same direction. Till 90 degree, if force and displacement have an angle of 90 degree with each other, less than 90, 0 to 89 degree, then also the work done will be positive. So work done will be negative only when, okay, I'll draw it again. Okay, just a second. Yes. If displacement of an object is happening in this direction and if force is acting in this direction, from this to this direction, if the angle between displacement and force is obtuse, that is less than 180 degree but greater than 90 degree, in that case the work done will be negative. Okay, so what is the angle between the direction of force and the displacement for work to be negative? It should be an obtuse angle. Okay, all right. Now name the physical quantity obtained using the formula U by H, where U is the potential energy and H is the height. Now we'll come to that. Yeah. Now what is the potential energy? Anybody knows about potential energy? What is the formula for potential energy? mgh. Just like everybody knows the formula for kinetic energy, that is half mv square, everybody should know the formula of potential energy, that is mgh, right? So this is mgh. Now if you divide it by h, u by h, mgh by h, that is mg. M into g, mass multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. Is it equal to weight? Yes. That is the weight of any body. If the mass of that body is multiplied by acceleration due to gravity, that is the weight of that body. So that quantity is the weight of an object, and weight is always measured in Newton. Force, weight is nothing but a force. Force acting in the downward direction, and that is happening in the Newton. Got it, everyone? Okay. Now calculate the power spent by a crane. This is again a very interesting question. Calculate the power spent by a crane by lifting a load of mass 2000 kg at velocity of 1.5 meter per second. Now, this question is like a physical situation that you all can see. You all have seen cranes loading lift at particular speed or particular velocity. But are you able to calculate the power spent by a crane? Crane has to spend some power, right? He's lifting a load of mass 2000 kg. If you have to lift a mass of 2000 kg at particular speed, you have to be powerful. The crane has to be powerful. Now, what is the formula for power? Even if you don't know the formula of power, you know the definition of power. What is that? Rate of flow or rate of work done, right? Now, rate of work done is work done upon time. That is W by T. Now, W is force multiplied by displacement. What is work done? Force multiplied by the displacement that is happening in the direction of force. That is work done. Now, S by T, force into velocity. Velocity is rate of change of displacement. So, F into V. Now, we know the formula of power is F into V. Do we have force in the question? No, we have only mass. We have only mass. We don't have force. How will be calculating the force? Very simple. If this is the mass which is 2000 kg and it has to be lifted by a crane, the crane has to apply a force which will be equal to the weight of this body. That is M into G. So directly F we can put it as M into G into V. Now M is, what is the mass? 2000. G is 10. And what is the velocity at which this crane is loading this, raising this load is 1.5 meter per second. That is 1.5. So while solving, you can do the calculation, it will come at our 30,000 watt or 30 kilowatt. Okay, very simple question. It is just based on the power formula. If you know the formula of power, all the values are directly in front of you. You can get the answer as soon as possible. Okay. Now let's come to this question. It is very easy question. You might have done these activities in your classroom as well. That a metal foot ruler is held at the edge of a table. If it is pressed at its free end, let's say this is a table. This is a metal ruler. Sometimes you hold it with your hand on the table and you keep it bent, you bend it like this and then suddenly you leave it. Then what will happen to this part? It will start moving like that. Why? Because of vibration, because vibrations are set up in that. So the metal foot ruler is held at the edge of a table and it is pressed at its free end and then it is released, it vibrates. And what is the name of the vibration produced? Once you keep it below and just leave it, the vibration is happening on its own, and that is natural vibration. And that is natural vibrations. These are natural vibrations. Now state one way to increase the frequency of this vibration. What is that one way if you want to increase the frequency of vibration? What is that way? If you just, I'm drawing another time. Okay. If you just reduce the length of the free part that is ready for vibration. If I take the scale a little back and like that, and now if I hold it and just take it to a little bottom and then release it, then the vibration which will be happening is having more frequency. The frequency will be increased. Okay, so this is how this question is done. Very simple question, application based question, activity based question I'll say. Okay, this question is actually checking whether you are good in your doing activities in your classroom as well. Okay. Now let's come to the next question. Yes, the answer was natural vibration and you have to reduce the length of the ruler which is free, then definitely the frequency will be more. Yeah. Whenever you go to whenever you go to market, you buy any kind of an electrical device like electrical heater, electrical toaster, you will always have this rating written on it. 240 watt, 220 volt. Now this rating is written on every electrical device. You see the label of that electrical device, rating is written here. But what does this statement mean? We have to explain that what this data is actually explaining. Can we deduce something else also from this data? Right? We have to check. 220 volt. Out of this 240 watt and 220 volt, we are very happy that we know that 220 volt is the power supply voltage. Whatever supply we are getting in our home is 220 volt. So if this geyser is to be used in our home, it can be used only at 220 volt. It can be used only at 220 volt. But if it is used at 220 volt, how much power it will consume? How much electricity bill will come? How will you know? Because from this 240 watt. So 240 watt is the power that is being consumed, right, by this geyser when it is used at 220 volt. And if you want to know the value of current, that how much current this geyser will draw, very simple. Power is V into I and I is P by V. So by that you can get the value of current as well, even if you want to write that in the statement. Okay, that is fine. Even if you don't write it, that is also fine. You just have to explain the meaning of the statement, that yes, power consumed will be this much joule of energy will be consumed every second, and this device is used as 220 volt power supply. Now, yes, that is a question. Is it possible for a concave lens, very important, concave lens, to form an image of size 2 times? What does that mean? Forming an image of size 2 times, is it a magnified image or it a diminished image? If a size of image is 2 times, it is definitely magnified, right? If that is magnified, it means it is bigger in size. And is it possible with concave lens? Is it really possible with concave lens to form a magnified image? Concave lens are diverging lens, and diverging lens always form diminished image. They always form diminished image. Leave 2 times, 1.5 times, 3 times. They cannot even form a same size image. They will always be forming diminished image. Okay. Now what will happen to the focal length of the lens? The second part, very interesting question is being asked here. That what will happen to the focal length of the lens if a part of the lens is covered with an opaque paper? Even if you cover a part of a lens with an opaque paper, are you changing the geometry of the concave lens or convex lens or whatever lens you are using? Are you changing the geometry? No. If you are not changing the geometry, if you are not changing the curvature, anything, then what will happen to focal length? Nothing will happen to focal length. It will remain same. It will remain unchanged. Okay. Yeah, so that was the answer for that. Now let's come to the next question. Which electrical component protects the electric circuit in case of excess current and which can also be used as a switch? Now, whenever this kind of thing comes into the mind, that which electrical component protect the electric circuit, whichever is a safety device, right? Something which provides safety to our home from the electricity. Suddenly a name comes to mind, fuse. Huh? Something happens, the fuse blows out. The fuse is gone for the house, that's why the power is cut, right? But that is a safety device. But can this be used as a switch? Once the fuse is blown, can you use it again? No, we have to replace the wire, then only you can use it again. It cannot be used as a switch, you can turn it off, turn it on. No. There is another device which can be used as a switch. What is that name? Anyone? MCB, the miniature circuit breakers. You all have seen, nowadays MCBs are only used, okay? Fuse are very rarely used. Nowadays all the connections are using MCB. Now miniature circuit breaker, they works on magnetic effect of electric current, and whenever the current value in a circuit exceeds a particular level, suddenly the MCB goes down. The power supply is cut, all the electrical appliances are safe because excess current is not reaching those devices. But now the current supply is restored to a normal condition. You want the current supply to your home to be restored. You do not have to replace the MCB, you just have to up the MCB, you just have to switch on the MCB, just like you switch on like any electrical device like fan, bulb, etc. Right? So that is the device MCB. Now name the wire to which this electrical component is connected in an electric circuit. Very simple. There are 2 options. Whenever this kind of question is asked, there are 2 options, live wire and neutral wire. Live wire and neutral wire. Now, current reaches to the electrical appliances First from live wire. Let's say here is an electrical appliances. There are two ways for current to reach that electrical appliances. Either go through live wire or either go through neutral wire. But actually current reaches first the electrical appliances through this live wire and then it is returning back. So if you use any kind of electrical device, if you want to use any kind of a safety device, fuse, MCB or any other thing, you first have to stop the current at here only so that it will not reach the electrical appliance. So it is always used in live wire. It is always connected in live wire. Okay. There is no purpose, there is no use, no benefit of connecting in neutral wire because already the current has done the damage to your electrical appliances. Okay. All right. Yes, the answer is live wire, MCB and live wire. Now let's move on to this next question, which is very easy question. It feels scary. Okay, this huge diagram is given. I'm not understanding anything. This is kind of a rod or this is kind of a conductor. What exactly is this? Sir, this is the very toughest question. I'll leave it. I'll do something else. No, this is a very easy question. Keep calm and think. A copper conductor is placed over two stretched copper wires. These are copper wires. These are stretched copper wires. And on that, a copper conductor is placed. This is not a rod. This is a copper conductor in the form of rod, in the shape of rod. Now this copper conductor is placed here. And once this copper conductor is touching these stretched copper wires and it is connected to a DC supply, then current will start flowing through that wire. Right? So what should be the magnetic poles at the point A and B lying on either side of the conductor to experience the force in the upward direction? Very simple. If these are connected in such a fashion, then this is the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal of the battery. Then the current will flow in this direction. Current will flow in this direction. Now we know the direction of current. We know the direction of force that is acting on this because the question wants the force in the upward direction. Question wants the force in the upward direction. If the question wants this thick rod, this copper conductor to move in upward direction, that means we have the direction of force as well. We know the direction of force, we know the direction of current. The question is now checking whether you know the direction of magnetic field or not. Because once you know the direction of magnetic field, you will know what will be north and south pole at point A and B. So which kind of rule you will be using to find the direction of magnetic field? Very simple. Fleming's left hand rule. You have to adjust your the forefinger, the center finger and the thumb in such a manner that they are perpendicular to each other. Adjust your center finger in such a manner that it is along the direction of flow of current and the force should be in upward direction. Let us assume that this is in a horizontal plane. The current is towards you, the force is acting in the upward direction. Then see where my forefinger is pointing. My forefinger is pointing towards right. It means the direction of magnetic field line should be towards right. So when will the direction of magnetic field lines will be like this? Magnetic field lines always originate from North Pole or South Pole? North Pole. So this is North Pole and this is South Pole, right? So A is North Pole and B is South Pole. Now name the law that is used to find this polarity. This question is actually just asked to just write the rule or name because you have already used that rule to find this. If you don't know the knowledge of that rule, how will you be able to do the first option, right? This question was just a formality for you, okay? So you can get marks of free, okay? Yeah, now we'll come to this question. Thermal capacity of substances A and B are same. Thermal capacity. It is thermal capacity. Do not be confused with specific kind of thing. No, it is only thermal capacity. If mass of A is more than mass of B, if mass of A is more than mass of B, then which substance will have more specific heat capacity? Very simple. Heat capacity, thermal capacity is nothing but M into C. Mass multiplied by specific heat capacity. Now the question is saying that the thermal capacity of substance A and B are same. They are same. So ME of A, M into C of B. And the question is also saying that mass of A is more than mass of B. Mass of A is more than mass of B. Mass of A upon mass of B is equal to specific heat capacity of B upon specific heat capacity of A. If this MA by ME is greater than 1 because mass of A is greater than mass of B, then specific heat capacity of B is actually greater than specific heat capacity of body A. So the answer is this, that B will have more specific heat capacity as compared to A. Now, which substance will show greater rise in temperature if the same amount of heat is applied to both? Okay, understand. Same amount of heat is applied. What is applied which is same? Heat is applied is same. Q applied is same. Q for A is Q for B. Which substance will show greater rise in temperature if same amount of heat is applied? So M into C into delta T of A, M into C into delta T of B. Now we already know M into C is what? Thermal capacity. And if the thermal capacity of the substances are same, then M into C of A is M into C of B. That we can also cancel, right? We can also cancel from both the sides. Now what is left? Delta T, change in temperature of body A and change in temperature of body B, which is equal, right? So delta T of A is equal to delta T of B. So which substance will show greater rise in temperature if the same amount of heat is applied to both? No, both will experience same rise in temperature. None of them will experience more, none of them will experience less. Now, let's come to the next question. How is the radioactivity of a radioisotope affected if it undergoes a chemical change? If it is undergoing a chemical change? Very simple. Even if you have read this chapter radioactivity, like the first 15 minutes, like the first 20 minutes or first 30 minutes, even if you have read the books, or if you have read the lecture, if you have watched us, then this question is very simple. Chemical change. Is chemical change responsible for radioactivity affected? Will the radioactivity be affected by a chemical change? No. Radioactivity of element is not affected by the chemical change at all, as radioactivity is a nuclear phenomena and it does not involve extranuclear electrons. Radioactivity will not involve the electrons that are revolving around that nucleus. Radioactivity is involving the nucleus, the neutron, right? So let's come to the section B. Here it is a 40 marks question, but the relief from section B is that you have to attempt any 4 questions from this section. So in the first 15 minutes, which were very, very crucial for all of you, here you have to decide which question I can do comfortably, which question I might be struggling. So take use of that, make use of that first 15 minutes, which are very crucial for everyone. Now here in this, let's come to the first question. The diagram shows the ray OP traveling through an equilateral prism of certain material. Calculate the value of I2 if the angle of deviation is 43 degrees. Now understand, here this is an equilateral prism. Equilateral prism means the angle of prism will be 60 degree. Angle of prism will be 60 degree. Again, this angle will be, all the angle will be 60, so this will also be 60 degree. Now, if angle of prism A is 60 degree, and angle of deviation delta is 43 degree, and I1 is given as 65 degree. If 3 angles are given to you and you are asked value of I2, I hope you all have learned that relation consisting of I1, I2, angle of prism and deviation, which is very simple. I1 plus I2, that is equals to A plus delta. Okay, I'm writing it here again. I1 plus I2, that is equals to A plus delta. Here it is to be delta. Okay. If you put all the values, you will definitely get as I2 as 30, because all the values are given in the question. You do not have to think too much. Just angle of prism was not given. For that, they have given the data that it is an equilateral prism. It is an equilateral prism. Okay. Now, what is the QS ray called? It is the emergent ray. It is emergent ray. The ray which is coming out of the prism after getting refracted is emergent ray. Okay, this is emergent ray. Now let's come to the next question. Okay, copy the diagram given below and complete the path of the light ray peak. Now this was the diagram which you have to actually draw in the examination. This was the diagram which you are supposed to copy from your question, and then you have to draw it in the book, in your notebook, answer copy, and then you have to complete the ray line. Now, as it emerges out of the prism by marking necessary angles, the critical angle of the glass is 42 degrees. Very simple. This question is very, very simple. It feels scary, but it is very, very simple. Understand, everyone. 90 degree. If any light ray is incident perpendicular to a surface, what it will be doing? It will be refracting. No, it will pass undeviated because it is incident normally to a surface. Okay, so it will go undeviated. So this angle will also be 90 degree. Now if this angle is 90 degree, this is 60 degree, then what is this? This will be 30 degree. Okay, so this angle is 30 degree. Now after going here, the light ray will go here. Why? Why it will go here? Understand, this angle is how much? The total is, okay, I'm drawing it again. Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. This angle was 30, this angle was 60. Now the angle of incidence whenever the light is moving from a denser medium to a rare medium is 60 degree. But the critical angle for the glass is only 42 degree. It means the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, which means will it suffer total internal reflection? Definitely yes, it will suffer total internal reflection. And once it suffers total internal reflection, this angle will also be 60 degree. Okay, now let's see the beauty. This is 60 and this is 90, so this will also be 30. Now this is 30, this is 60, will it be 90? Yes. Again the light ray is falling on the interface of two refractive medium normally, and if it is acting normally, it will go undeviated. So the diagram will look like this. You have to make the diagram like that. Okay, so very simple question. It was very simple, nothing complex was there. You just have they have purposefully given you the critical angle of the glass is 42 degree. Okay, now this is a very interesting question, right? They are just checking you, checking your knowledge of orange and blue color light, wavelength, refractive indexes. If you know that, this question is very, very easy. Simplest question I can say. Now diagram below shows two parallel rays A and B incident from air on air glass boundary. They are going from air to air glass boundary. Copy and complete the path of the rays A and B. This was the first option. Question second was asked that how do the speeds of these rays differ in glass? The speed of these rays will have to differ in the glass because till the time they are moving in vacuum or moving in air or rarer medium or the medium which is not very, which will not be having much more refractive index, all the color wavelength light will travel at same speed. But once they enter into a medium like glass or any kind of water, anything, they will suffer difference in their speed. So how do the speed of these rays differ in glass? That is asked here. Are the two refracted rays in glass parallel? Give a reason. If once they are refracting, they are moving inside the glass, will they remain parallel or not? So one is orange and one is blue. Understand. This is the orange color light and this is the blue color light. Now copy and compare the path of the light rays A and B. Now orange color light will be deflecting to a much greater extent and blue color light is deflecting to a lesser extent. Okay, let's understand. The speed of red color light is more, okay. Red is greater than blue with Gyur, okay. Blue, violet or something like that. So if orange color light is moving like that, it is reflecting like this, but it is reflecting to a less greater extent that I can see. Okay. Now how do the speed of these light rays differ in glasses? Because the refractive index for different color lights in the glasses will be different. That's why they will deflect to a different angle. And if they are reflecting to a different angle, they will be parallel? No, they will definitely not be parallel because angle of refraction will be different for both the color light, orange and blue. Okay. Now let's move on to the next. Yes, the speed of blue color light is less than orange light. Okay. So they will not be remaining parallel. All right. Yeah. Now let's come to this question. A convex lens of focal length 10 centimeter is placed at a distance of 60 centimeter from a screen, how far from the lens should an object be placed so as to obtain a real image on the screen? We have to form an image on the screen, and the distance of that screen from the lens is given as 60 centimeter. This is already given, 60 centimeter from the screen. So let's say this is a convex lens. Yes, this is a convex lens, and image needs to form on a screen. Let's say this is the screen, and the distance of screen from the lens is how much? 60 centimeter. And the focal length of this lens is 10 centimeter. This is plus 10 because the focal length will be plus 10. This is a convex lens. How far from the lens should an object be placed? How far from a lens should an object be placed? So what is the object distance? The question is asking that. Question is checking your knowledge of object distance. So very simple. The focal length was plus 10 centimeter and the image needs to be formed at 6. It should be 60 centimeter. Okay, 60. Now we use the lens formula, that is 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon F. V is already given as 60. 60 minus U, this is 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon 10. Okay, I'll solve it here only. Yeah. Just a second. Plus 10. Image is plus 60. Object is question. So 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon F. 1 upon V is 60 minus 1 upon U, that is just 1 upon 10. So this will be 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon 60 minus 1 upon 10, and that will be 60, 1 minus 6 minus 5 upon 60, 1 upon U. U will be come out as minus 12 centimeter. It means object has to be placed at a distance of 12 centimeter to the left of the lens. Okay. So if this is a lens, object is placed here at 12 centimeter, then image will be formed on a screen which is placed at a distance of 60 centimeter. Alright. So that was this question. This question was just checking your knowledge of lens formula, nothing more than that. Okay. Yeah. Now this is the question. A coin capped inside water, that is mu is equals to 4 by 3, when viewed from air in a vertical direction, appears to be raised by 3 millimeter. If you all have observed this, right? Whenever you are visiting any swimming pool, you will see that swimming pool is not much dense. It feels like it is very shallow. And you suddenly jump into that and then you feel, okay, it is very deep, right? This happens, right? Whenever you have a coin in your glass or any kind of a glass, you will feel that coin is like very up. And whenever you try to take that coin, you have to go deep into the water, right? So that happens because of refraction. A coin capped inside water, mu is equals to 4 by 3. The refractive index of water is given here. When viewed from air in a vertical direction, appears to be raised by 3 millimeter. Find the depth of the coin in the water. The question is specifically asking what is the depth of coin in the water. Very simple. Real mu is, the formula is very simple. The refractive index is real depth upon apparent depth. Now if this is a glass and this is the actual coin is here, but image, this is actual coin but image is seen here. But what is the actual depth of that is the x is the real depth. So real depth is x, but apparently it is looking at x minus 3. It is looking at somewhat raised, okay? 3 centimeter raised, so it will be x minus 3. So we do the calculations here and you will get the answer as 12. So the actual depth of the coin will be 12 millimeter. So this question is just checking whether you are knowing this real depth versus apparent depth or not, okay? Now how is the critical angle related to the refractive index of a medium? Very simple. Refractive index of medium with respect to air is 1 upon sine C. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Now this is a very simple question. Okay. Infrared radiations are used in warfare. Explained with reason why. Because they can penetrate through the haze without being scattered. In warfare, what if you are having a war in the region where the haze is there? Too much haze is there, cloudy conditions are there, the signals are not reaching properly. then it will be very difficult to communicate or very difficult to locate the targets, right? Locate the enemy targets as well. So infrared radiations they can penetrate through the edge without being scattered. So whatever signals we are sending, they can be reached properly to the place where they want to be. Okay. Now the second is that ray of light is incident at 45 degree on an equilateral prism in the diagram. This is an equilateral prism. Okay. This is an equilateral prism. The ray of light is incident at 45 degree. Now name the phenomena exhibited by the ray of light when it enters and emerges out of the prism. The phenomena exhibited by the ray of light when it enters and emerges out of the prism. See, a single light is going. It's a white light is entering on the prism. Now here, it is separating, splitting into its 7 constituent color. And when it is leaving out, you can exactly see the band of 7 colors that can be opened on a screen. So this phenomena is actually the dispersion of light, that is scattering of light into its 7, the splitting of light into its 7 constituent colors. Why this phenomena? The question is also asked. State the cause of the ever phenomena mentioned by you. The phenomena which you are mentioning, what is the reason for that? The reason is very simple, because different color lights travel at different speed in a medium. That's why they will undergoing different deviations whenever they are passing through a glass prism. Okay. Yeah. Now this is a question. Okay. Our block and tackle system of pulley has velocity ratio 4. Draw a label diagram of the system indicating clearly the direction of the load and effort. Now this is a very simple block and tackle system of pulley. Okay. Now this is an example. This is the diagram you can draw for a block and tackle system of pulley. There are 4 pulleys here, because it is mentioned that velocity ratio is 4. If velocity ratio is 4, the number of pulleys will be 4. Okay. Given velocity ratio is 4. Okay. Now we have drawn the diagram including the direction of load and effort. So very simple. Direction of load is here and direction of effort is here. Here you have to put the effort so that the load can be put. Okay. Now what is the value of the mechanical advantage of the given pulley system if it is an ideal pulley system? Now mechanical advantage is load upon effort. Now whatever load we are trying to lift is actually 4 times of whatever effort we are applying. We are applying an effort only T. Let's say T is the effort that we are applying. But the load we are pulling it, we are lifting is actually 4 times that of our effort. So its mechanical advantage is 4. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. A meter scale of weight 50 gram force can be balanced to 40 centimeter mark without any weight suspended on it. Okay. Now there is a meter scale whose weight is 50 gram force and it can be balanced at 40 centimeter mark without any weight suspended on it. If this ruler is cut at its center, then state which part 0 to 50 or 50 to 100 centimeter of the ruler will weigh more than 25. Understand, this 25 is what? This 25 is nothing but more than half of the weight of meter scale. 25 gram force is half of 50 gram force, and that is exactly half. When they are asking more than 25, it means more than half. So understand, if this is a ruler and this is balanced at 40 centimeter mark, if this is balanced at 40 centimeter mark without any weight that is suspending on it, why it is balanced? It must be balanced because on one side the weight will be more, on one side the weight will be less. Here, if the weight is acting here or this part, then the distance will be less. Here the weight is more. Here whatever is the weight, but distance of weight from that fulcrum or that point of suspension is more. So definitely this part will have more weight. If 0 to 40 centimeter part more will have more weight or equal weight, let's say, then 0 to 50 will definitely have more weight as compared to that part. So 0 to 50 is our answer for that part. Now what minimum weight on this meter rule can balance this ruler when it is pivoted at its center? Now this question we can do by assuming that from 40 to 100, whatever the mass of this part is uniformly distributed. So from 40 to 100, the mass is uniformly distributed, and by that condition, if we take, let's say this is 50 part, then it is like 25 upon 60. Okay. By that, only half part half part is 50, half part is 50, and if you assume it by doing that, this mass is uniformly distributed, then it comes out as something kind or 10 gram force, which can be added minimum so that the meter rule can be balanced. Okay. Now this is the next question, which is a very easy question. A car of mass 120 kg is moving at a speed of 18 km per hour and it accelerates to attain a speed of 54 km per hour in 5 seconds. Calculate the work done by the engine. We have to calculate the work done by the engine. Very simple. Work done by the engine is nothing but force multiplied by the displacement. Now we know the car of mass is 120 kg. So obviously 120 into acceleration we have to know, right? So we have to first calculate the acceleration. It is given in the question that it accelerates to attain a speed of this much. So we have to first calculate the acceleration. Okay, so acceleration we first have to calculate, that is final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. By that we can calculate the value of acceleration, we will get the force. And then we have to calculate the displacement as well, that what is the displacement or what is the distance moved by that car. Once we know the distance moved by that car, we will multiply it by force and we will get the work done. Now how to calculate the power? Power of the engine is very simple, rate of work done. What is the work done? The work done by the engine that we have calculated in the first part divided by the time. Time is given in the question, that is 5 seconds. That is work done upon 5. And then you will get the answer for this question as well. Okay. So this is the approach that we'll be using to solve these questions. Okay. Now let's come to the next part, that which characteristic of sound is affected due to a larger surface of a school bell. Okay, so my friend Cherry will now explain the answer for this question. Yes, come on, welcome and try to explain that what characteristics of sound is affected. Yes.
See, so whenever we are going to see the characteristics, you need to make sure that while increasing the large surface area, that means you are enhancing that characteristic, right? So when we are talking about the characteristics, so it should be loudness. Why loudness? Because this loudness is the one thing which can pass on the energy to a very large distance, right? So that is the main reason. The larger the surface of that school bell will be, the more distant it will cover, and definitely you can hear it from a very, very far away. So yes, the answer is the loudness for this. Now let's calculate the second portion. The distance covered by the ultrasonic wave having a velocity of 1.5 km per second in 14 seconds when it is received after reflection by the receiver of the sonar. See, you might do a mistake over here, that you can take the sonar and you will be writing, okay, that distance is here and we can always get the same equation for the sonar itself, right? It was the same equation, but here that is the main mistake you can do, that you shouldn't be dividing it by 2. Okay, why? Because already given in the question that it should be received after reflection by the receiver. So the distance traveled by the ultrasonic wave will be just the velocity into time itself. So the velocity is 1.5 km per second multiplied by the 14 second. That will be...
Then you will get the final answer, which is very easy.
Simple. That you don't have to do next anything, right? Just calculate it and that it will be all. Alright.
So this is the answer. You can get it like that. Okay. Yeah. This is
next one. So see over here, you are going to see the nuclear changes, right? All of the elements are written over here. You need to understand where the alpha decay is going on, where the beta decay is going on, right?
So in the first part, the alpha decay is going on. Okay. So the 92P238, the atomic number is actually reduced to 90 and the mass number is increased to 234. Okay, it is decreased to 234. Yeah. And then the beta decay is happening. So here the R is actually after the beta decay. So it will be 91R 234. So you just have to see the atomic numbers, etc. and then you will get the final answer that yes, it is alpha decay and beta decay. Now, the second question is that name the nuclear radiation which has the highest ionizing power. Now the highest ionizing power is definitely of alpha radiation. Alpha radiation will have the highest ionizing power. Okay. Now this is a very interesting question, that a TV channels clearly when we set TV on auto tuning. Now this auto tuning is something that we not hear today, right? This is the kind of television that used to come earlier. They have a kind of tuning kind of a thing. We have to adjust manually earlier, but then comes the auto tune which it will automatically adjust. Okay, automatically correct. So this phenomena is actually, the phenomena that is used to auto-tune is actually resonance, and what happens is they just match the frequency of the signal provider and the receiver. So this matching of signal is actually done earlier manually, but now by this device this is done automatically.
So basically this is advancement, yeah?
Yes, this is advanced kind of technology, right? So this resonance is happening because the frequency is matching of all these things. Now the ever phenomena mentioned by you is we have to explain that what is resonance. So whenever the frequency of external application is equal to the natural frequency, that will lead to resonance, okay? And this is also used in radio and dish TV. Here you can also use.
Basically, resonance is just matching the frequencies together.
Yes.
So both, whether the external or the natural, you just need to compare their values. They must be equal, and then how you can get the resonancy.
Okay. Now let's come to define specific resistance. The word is specific resistance.
You might be confused, but this is just another word for resistivity itself.
So very simple. Specific resistance of a material is nothing but resistance of that wire whose length is unit. It means the length is 1 meter and unit area of cross section, the area of cross section is 1 meter square. If that is there, then that resistance of that wire is actually the specific resistance of that material. Now the second part is, what happens to the specific resistance of a conductor if its length is doubled? Yes, what happened to if the length is doubled?
See, you don't have to be confused by this statement, because specific resistance is resistivity itself. It's a property of the material, and it does depend on the material and the temperature itself. So length, if you change the length, the cross-sectional area, it doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't depend on the dimensions of any wire or material. Now name a substance whose specific resistance remain almost unchanged with an increase in its temperature is manganese and constantan. That's why they are used in...
Yeah. They are alloys, and whenever you increase the temperature of those substances, their resistivity doesn't have any that much significant changes.
Okay, so which nuclear radiation will travel undeviated in an electric field? So gamma radiation will travel undeviated in an electric field because they are uncharged. Gamma radiations does not deviate, okay? Now, how can one stop the radiation escaping from a nuclear reactor in a nuclear power plant? Yes.
So you just need to make the walls of that nuclear reactor with lead or steel walls, so they can make sure that the radiation do not escape the walls, right?
Now name one internal source of background radiation. Now background radiation is sometimes students feel, sir, what is this background radiation?
It doesn't happen in the background. It is just inside your body.
Yes.
There are few different things. For example, the potassium, carbon, and radium, they are present inside your body, and you are already exposed to that radiation. These are the background radiation.
Yes.
So you can have, you can write any one of these, it will be correct.
Yeah, it is not necessary that you have to write all the threes in the examination. Even if you have written one thing also, that is also fine. You will get full out of full marks, okay? Now find the value of current I drawn from the cell. Now focus on this part. Generally we used to see only voltage written here, the EMF written here, but here it is 2 ohm is also written. If 2 ohm is also written, it means it is the internal resistance of this cell or battery. That is what we have to take into consideration. Everyone knows how to find the equivalent resistance of this combination. This is very easy. Everyone knows. But the real challenge is here. Okay. So the question is asking, calculate the current I. So how to find the equivalent resistance between these 2 points? This 15 and 15 are in series. So their equivalent resistance is 30. Then the 30 and this 30 are in parallel. So their equivalent resistance is 15 ohm only. Now if the equivalent external resistance is 15 ohm and internal resistance is 2 ohm, then what is the value of current that is flowing through it is I is equals to V by R. V is 3.4.
So here this R is the total resistance.
Total
that means
resistance.
You have to calculate the external plus that internal.
So most of the students commit mistake. They put just 15 here.
And that's why their answer will be wrong for
Yeah,
this.
it has to be 15 plus 2, 17. Okay. So V is 3.4 divided by 15 plus 2, and then you will get the final answer, that is current. Now this current I is flowing into entire, this current I is flowing here and through this battery as well. Now calculate the terminal voltage. The question is asking terminal. We know the internal resistance of the battery. We know the current that is flowing through the battery. Can we calculate the terminal voltage? Yes, by V is equals to IR. By V is equals to IR. You put the value of current that is flowing through this battery, and what is the internal resistance? You will get the terminal voltage as well.
Here the R is the external one. Okay, so you need to calculate this one, only the external, not the internal. Because whenever you are calculating the voltage drop, then only you are going to consider the internal resistance only, right?
Alright, okay. So let's move on to the next question. Yeah, calculate the total amount of heat energy required to melt 200 gram of ice, which is at 0 degrees Celsius. You not only have to melt it because it is an ice which is at 0 degrees Celsius. So first you have to melt it, and then you have to raise the temperature of it to 100 degrees Celsius as well. So first melting is happening, and then increase in temperature is also happening. So that's very simple. First heat is provided to melt that ice, and then heat is provided to increase the temperature of that melted water or melted ice. So we just put the values. What is the mass given? 200 gram. Is there any need to convert this 200 gram? Is there any need? No.
You can just see the units over here. See, gram per gram is given over here, so you don't need to change.
You have to be smart, right? In order to save your calculation. Sometimes you started with 200 gram. Okay, I'll calculate. I convert this into kg, and then I'll put the value. Then you got to know. Okay, this is joule per gram. I'll again have to convert. So this is not a smart way. Okay. So always take a look here and then proceed with the calculation. So it is ml. So 200 multiplied by specific latent heat of ice, which is 336. M is again 200. Specific heat capacity of water is 4.2 because the water temperature needs to be increased. Okay. And then
we have the change in temperature,
which is 0 to 100. That is 100. So now you will get the answer very easily if you do the calculation. Okay. The answer will come out as this much. You can convert this into kilojoule as well. Okay. Now state the principle of calorimetry and name the material which is used for making a calorimeter and one characteristic property the material chosen for making a calorimeter. Now this calorimeter is something that we have consistently asked students to revise. This is very, very important.
Yeah, even most important, we marked it.
Yes, this is very important. We especially focuses whenever we explain this chapter, right? Because look, all the 3 questions are based on calorimeter, right? So understand. The heat lost by the hot body is exactly equal to the heat gained by the cold body. This is the principle, the basic principle of calorimeter in order to measure temperature. Whatever heat I'm gaining must be lost by some other thing, right? That will be equal. And after that, you can calculate the temperature of anything that you want. Now, what is the material used for making a calorimeter? It is copper, right? Now, write one characteristic property of the material that is chosen for making calorimeter. Why copper? Why not anything else? Yes?
So, the number one important factor, it is a good conductor, definitely. Also, it has low specific heat capacity, right? That is why the copper is being used, so that whatever temperature is given to the calorimeter, it quickly reach up to it, right? That is why a good conductor is used here. Also, you can take this calorimetry as, even if you written the law of conservation of energy, that would be also the, I think, the correct one. So, because it is based on the energy conservation only, right? So, this is also correct for you.
Alright, so we are approaching to the last question of our this paper, okay, which was, yes, an easy question. Diagram makes it look scary, but believe me, this is very, very easy. A diagram below shows a cardboard on which iron fillings are kept. So, on this cardboard, some iron fillings are there. A wire bent in the form of a loop like a circle is seen passing through the cardboard. So, through the cardboard, this wire in the form of a loop is passing. When current flows through it, the iron filling arrange themselves as shown. So iron fillings are arranging like this. This circular lines with arrows are actually representing the way the iron fillings are arranged, the pattern of the iron fillings along with the direction as well. So the question is asking that state the polarities of the battery at A and B. Very important question. Now everyone, you know the right hand thumb rule. Everyone knows the right hand thumb rule. So at this point, what is the direction of these circular lines? They look like clockwise. They look like clockwise. If I curl my fingers like this, okay, they will look like clockwise. So here the direction of current will be upward. Now here the fingers are curling in the anti-clockwise direction like that. So here the current will be flowing in the downward direction. So current is going from here and reaching here. So terminal A will be positive, terminal B will be negative. So state the polarities of the battery at A and B is positive A and negative B. Why? Look, this question is not very difficult. If you know the knowledge of right hand thumb rule, which is the very basic, whenever we start with a current current flowing in a straight conductor, we use a right hand thumb rule, which is very, very simple. So by that right hand thumb rule, we know the direction of flow of current. Once we know the direction of flow of current, we know the current always flow from positive to negative terminal of a battery, right? That's it. Now the second part is that state the effect on the magnetic field if an iron rod is held along the axis of the coil. Yes.
Even if you put any iron rod in it, it will be just increasing the magnetic field. Basically, it will work on the strength of the magnetic field. So it would be like the increase in that.
Yes. Now state one way to change the polarity of the coil. How to change this polarity of the coil? Very simple. If you change the terminal of the batteries, then the polarity of this coil will also change. Now the next question is that decrease the strength of the magnetic field around the coil. How to decrease the magnetic field strength around, if iron fillings are there? You want less iron fillings to be arranged in a specific pattern. How it can be done? It can be done by decreasing the value of current. Whatever current is flowing through the coil, just decrease that value. Just decrease the amount of current, the magnitude of current that is. And how it can be done? By using a battery of lower potential. Okay, just lower voltage battery you use it, the value of current will be less. Okay. Alright, so that comes to the end of this very interesting explanations and discussion. Okay, I hope you all are getting very, very good marks. And my ma'am will also be saying thanks to you. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, definitely. Even I have seen all of the students who have commented that the paper was tough, but it wasn't tough. But let me tell you this, it might be tough for you specifically, and that is just an illusion to you because your questions are totally correct according to the questions you have answered in the comment section. So I think it is like okay paper, right? Not that much hard, but yeah, okay paper. So it was quite easy, as I can say, right?
Yes, it was
For
easy.
most of the
Do not
students,
worry, your paper has went very well.
Yes.
Focus on the upcoming papers. We will meet again. Bye bye everyone. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.